here we go again. You know what it is. You know what it is. We're talking about what's going on tonight. We got the RNC. For those that don't know, come on, Republican National Convention. And then, of course, we have hurricanes. We have COVID. We have no basketball. Then baseball follows. I got to know what you're thinking out there. You got to tell me. But before you start thinking, like, subscribe. Don't forget to do that. That's the most important thing that you're doing right now, other than listening and your feedback. That way, other people will wake up a little bit. You know how you have to shake someone to wake them up? That's what we're trying to do right now. So, we're going to do that with the most respectable fashion that we can. When our guests come in, they'll come in and we'll go from there. But the beauty of it is that, hey, we're making this bad boy happen, and that's what it's supposed to be like. So, without further ado, let's just start this bad boy and understand this. A couple of things in my background you can see, and I'll stop it eventually, but that's the Republican National Convention. And, they're doing their thing right now. They're talking to people. And I just want you to understand one thing. I want to ask you a question to the public that's out there. Help me understand one thing. So, you know how when you were playing baseball or basketball and you go on a court and you're ready to go play, and on the court, you saw the other team and you're checking them out. And you're like, we got them. We got them. If you came on the court and you were the Republican National Convention or you were the Democratic National Convention, how would you feel? If you're keeping it honest with me, uh, never ever overestimate your opponent. But the truth is, how would you feel like you did when you used to play sports back in the day? I know you're old, some are young, but the truth is, how did you feel about it? What would you do about it? What happens after that? And if you're really being honest with me, you know what you've done. You looked at them and you made absolutely, you sized them up. You do that every single day, whether it be a job, whether it be you going and meeting someone, whether it be you going to meet someone for a date. You do it. They do it. We all do it. It's human nature. What do you do with that information? How do you process that is the question. So, yeah, with that being said, hey, I'm just asking for what you think about that, because they're saying a lot of things. And I'm wondering, are they really going to go behind the scenes and look and fact check what's really going on? Or they're just going to take what they say as the truth, fact? When someone tells you something, do you take it as truth? Or do you take the time to find out if there's a little bit more to that information than face value, if you will? I venture to guess that with most, there's definitely a little part of you that says, I like what they're saying. I'm going to go with it. But yeah, it doesn't sound right. But, they told me, so I'm going to take it. Are you responsible? I mean, are you responsible? Tell me the truth. Are you responsible with that line of thinking or no? And I'll make sure this camera's right, so we're good to go on that. But if you feel like you are okay with that and that's something that you can live with, okay, then you're probably not the audience I'm talking to. But the audience that I am talking to, I know you hear what I'm saying. And it's very, very important that you understand that. It's very, very important that those are the things that we go through, and understand that it's important that we get to what people think behind the scenes, not what they display. Because a lot of times it depends on the audience. A lot of people won't say certain things in front of certain people unless they're comfortable enough to say them, even though they may feel differently. First time in history that the incumbent has never had a previous president speak on their behalf. And it doesn't have to be Obama. It doesn't have to be anything remotely like that. The whole point is it could be anybody, any ex-president. And then you have all of these GOP that are saying, hey, I'm jumping ship. You see it, people. Why are we fighting that? Is it deeper than that? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I talked earlier about the Milwaukee Bucks walking off the court. What I didn't talk about earlier was these hurricanes that are category 4, which is one category below what ripped through Louisiana not too long ago when George Bush, another Republican president, was at the helm. You thought George Bush was bad. You thought George Bush didn't care. I would hope if I am in any leadership role in any state close to that, that I am doing everything proactively and not depending on the government. And if you happen to be the lower socioeconomic, I hope that the right thing will be done. But history has said, that's where skepticism comes from. I hope the right thing is done. I hope the right people are in place. There's a lot of lives on in the balance. I mean, you got all these things going on, losing jobs, COVID. You have 2 hurricanes, and leadership looks really, really shaky at best. And we're divided. There has to be a voice. It's not one, it's just people. Deep down, I truly believe and hope to, and will believe no different, even when sometimes I see in the face that it's not what I want it to be. With some, I don't get disheartened. There are good people out here, very good people, in very deep leadership positions at the highest of levels. But you got to speak. Sometimes you just got to speak. And if the person that you're speaking to, audience, venue, has to hear it in the rawest of ways for them to hear it, sometimes that's necessary. Because you're not just talking to the people that look like you, sound like you, believe like you, or raised like you. That would be too easy. It's the people that are nothing like you, that you've never been around, that you probably never spent a night or a day around, and what that entails because it's not your world. If you, whoever you may be, can go to any other neighborhood, venue, restaurant, people for one complete day, the opposite of what you ever thought you would go to, and just hear them, it will be an amazing step to understanding people's feelings, thought process, why they fill in the blank. What are they thinking? Fill in the blank. And what it makes you is who you already are, an amazing individual, which means that you have the capacity, even when you're mad, and you don't understand, to at least hear what they have to say. Disagree all you will. We all do sometimes. It's okay. But the important part is that at least you're opening up the communication. How many times have you been on an elevator and it's chock full with 8 or 9 people and nobody says a word to each other? Help me understand why that is. Shouldn't be, but it is. So, what do we do about that? Do we just continuously understand or accept the fact that that's just how people are? That's pretty much of a cop out, right? There's a lot going on in the world right now, and the least of which is people that don't have jobs. The least of which is people that don't know what the hurricane's going to do to their city and what's going to happen tomorrow. Those are the least of which. At least you have an option. At least you have what could happen. At least someone else cannot determine the outcome of your life based on his day or her day. See, we got to put it in perspective, people. We take for granted a lot of things in life. Going out and getting in your car if you have one, job if you have one, going downstairs in the refrigerator and pulling out your sandwich if you have one, running water, being able to go and have an hour or two of solace without anybody interrupting you, because we're usually on autopilot all the time and we're just reactionary about what happens with us. And I think sometimes we get so inundated with what's going on around us that we forget that we're alive. I think that's the biggest thing that I have is that we forget that we're alive. Why do we allow ourselves to forget that we're alive? And what I mean by that is simply that as a mother, as a father, you get up. If you have children, you have to plan out your day. And if anything impedes you planning out your day, then somehow that's not okay. Why is that? Why can't you just simply change the day because, hey, that's just how life is. And that's what it's supposed to be like, right? I don't think we're okay with that. And then you all have the hubbub of what's going on in the RNC. I do not for 1 minute think you, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, don't understand the dog whistles that are being said in the RNC. What they're saying when they're saying what they're saying. And that's not a tongue twister. That's just think what they're saying and why. Does it make sense to you, rational person? And if it does, okay. Okay. It reminds me of a meme that I saw a couple of days ago, and it said this. It said, a lot of black people say like 400 years or 200 years, all this slavery. And people say, hey, forget about it. Let it go. I wasn't involved in that. You're right. Let it go. And that was hundreds of years. But then you have Confederacy, which was 4 years. Four. Which killed over 200 Americans that disagreed. And you're willing to die over statues and what it meant to you. And the reason I even say that to you, America, is because that's why people are reacting the way they are. I said it earlier, and it's true. It reminds me of a woman, and this is real. When they're fed up, they're fed up. And I'll say that because it resonates with them. And you know what? You listen to what they have to say, whether you agree with it or not, you do. Just like that kid, you tell him something good and didn't want to hear you. Oh, he hears you. I know you hear her too. And that's why I'm drawing that correlation together. Don't act like you don't hear it. Wake up. Wake up, people. If people are walking out on NBA, MLB, you name it, games, there's something going on around you. Be a part of that because history will say, you know what? You are a part of that. Just like you remind yourself of people that you are proud of now that were in your history, not what you were taught in school. I know you may think all these things are great, but Columbus did not discover America, people. I know that's tough, but he didn't. And there's a whole bunch more that you need to inundate yourself with to learn. And you know what? What you learned before might not be true. It's okay. It's called evolution. Think of it this way. It's kind of cool. Are you the same person you were a year ago? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago? Are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Shit, if you're that old, 30 years ago. If you don't think the way you did 40, 30, 20, you name it, years ago, then you can't hold on to the same things that you believed before because you have grown and you have learned things and you can't even explain it away. The fact is, if you haven't, then you're okay with where you're at right now, and that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And maybe someone will never tell you that. They don't have to. You know. So, to those that are out there that understand what I'm saying, I hope you do. But if you don't, it's what it is. I'm not going to try to convince you of something that's there. I'm just not. I want you to talk to me. I'm here for you. Just talk to me, people. Learn more and talk to me. That's all I want you to do. If you can do that, that's great. If you can, hey, it's okay. I think the greatest thing I can say to you is this platform is amazing because it allows us to speak and tell our minds, and even when people don't want to hear what we have to say, it's pretty amazing to me, to be quite honest with you, because I can get on anytime I want to. I enjoy the fact that most of my people that I entertain or interact with, they pretty sane. Usually, they're very professional. They are with corporations or they own their own business or they're GMs, but they are sane people. And I'm going to join one of my people that want to come in and talk to you, friend of mine. And we're going to join you in Cash Money. What's going on? What's going on?
What's up? What's up, Big D? How are y'all doing, man?
You have your mute button on or not? Okay, good.
I show it's not muted.
I hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, D?
I hear you.
Excuse me. Let me flip this around. Okay.
So my question to you is, it's a little bit of a delay. I can. It's a little bit of a delay. No worries. So what I was talking about earlier was the fact of. My question to you is, it's a little bit of a delay. I can. It's a little bit of a delay. No worries. So hold on a second, brother. My question to you is this. It is a little bit of a delay. I'm back on target now. My question to you was this. A lot of times when we're at this age, whether it be 50, 60, 40, you name it, do we think the same way we did when we were 20, 30? And if we do not, or we do, why can't we go back to well, this is the way I think, that's just how I think, and it's okay? Is that acceptable to someone or anyone that has a conversation with something that may be disputed?
I think we grow, man. I think if you're thinking the same way you thought back then, with hopefully the life experiences you've had since that time, and you're still thinking the same way, you're trying too hard to remain where you were. I mean, you've got to have experienced something along the road. I maybe I think similarly to the way I did, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, but so much more informed now. I think my decisions and my thoughts are more informed. So what I think about now includes more life experiences. So I mean, I can't be the same. I don't think so.
Okay. So when someone says that to you, that, hey, that's just how I am, that's just what I think, what is your response to them? Is that exasperating? Is that frustrating? And the reason I say that is because now it reminds you of like when you played sports. Now it's like you got 3 seconds. And now whatever you do and you decide to do at this point, it really matters to everyone that's around you, whether it be COVID, whether it be the hurricane, whether it be leadership, whether it be divisiveness of the nation. Those people now, what do they go back to that makes them have the sauce to make a good decision if they're not like you or someone like you that can really break it down and process?
Then they're in trouble. If you just dig your feet in and say hey, that's just me. Yeah, I may be wrong. I may be racist. I may be this. I may be crazy. But hey, that's just me. That's the way I think. That's the easy cop out, man. That's a way to say, hey, not my fault. That's just me. So I don't. What you may be presenting me with new evidence of whatever it may be. You may be, but hey, I can't receive that. That's just the way I am. I think that's weak. In my opinion, if I was like, hey, that's just the way I am, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hear new information. I'm not trying to evolve as a person. That's just the way I am. I'm sorry. Then I don't know, man. How do you get around that? You have to personally want to grow. You got to want to get around that. You got to accept. You have to empathize. You got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you say, hey, that's just the way I am, and your experience, I can't feel that because that's just not me. That's a tough one, man.
Do you meet a lot of people like that?
Some, very, very few, man. Thankfully, I don't meet a whole lot of people like that. A couple, like, hey, that's just me. That's just the way I am. And I think that's the easy way out, if that makes sense, right? Like you say, hey, I don't want to feel something that you may be feeling that doesn't fit in the way that I'm comfortable. I go this way, and you're going this way, and you're asking me to try to think like that, and that doesn't make me comfortable, man. This is the way I do.
I asked a question earlier. I want you to tell me the truth. So you know how when you played sports before back in the day, and you get on, everyone goes out, whether they're playing basketball, baseball, and you get on the court and you're looking at the other team and you're kind of sizing them up and saying, hey, okay,
every time
take this all day, right? So you're the RNC or you're the DNC right now, and you saw both of what you've seen so far. How do you size it up if you're being completely honest? And I'm not saying that either way or the other, but how do you size it up in the terms of, like, say, sports? And we'll get back to that one in just a moment because sports says we're not going to play right now.
It's unfortunately like the DNC and the RNC right now. So that's a good question. If you like the Cowboys and you're trying to defend them no matter what, so you got you got Jerry out here being crazy, you got all these things happening, but you've aligned yourself with the Cowboys, right? That's my team. That's my squad. Hey.
Great analogy, brother. Okay. Great analogy.
Right. So you've aligned yourself with the Cowboys. Now, if they do something dumb, then you got to stand by that because that's your team, right? Oh no, it's not that dumb. You try to make up reasons why Jerry's not dumb, why Dak is not bad. You start making excuses for your team because you don't want to look bad. That's the same thing in politics. I could have. If you're the RNC, you're Republican, and Trump goes up there and says something so stupid, so arrogant, so crazy, then you find yourself backing him. You're like, hey, he's not that crazy. Come on, hey, if you
that's pretty good. That's pretty good, man.
You know what I'm saying? If you're for Biden or the DNC, and Biden comes up there and he says something crazy and dumb or whatever it may be, then you got to try to carry the brother along. You got to help him along, like the Republicans help Trump along when he says something stupid, and the DNC helps Biden along when he says something stupid because that's my guy. if he's wrong, I'm wrong. I'm backing this man. So if he's wrong, I'm wrong. I don't want to look bad. So I'm gonna try to cover for him. It's ridiculous.
I think that is the greatest analogy that I have heard thus far. That really puts it in perspective, especially here in South, when you're down here in Texas and you love your Cowboys. Man, I couldn't put it better myself. That is amazing. That is very, very true.
It's just
And
like
that's
that.
relatable. It's relatable.
You're trying to back your squad, and you know
they ain't going to the Super Bowl.
No, they're not. They're not. But these people know when Trump does something horrible, something dumb, something rude, something mean. He insults somebody, and they're like, "Oh, hey, he's a good Christian man." Whoa. Wait a minute. And he's talking about in the book of 2 Corinthians. He don't even know how to say 2 Corinthians, right? So I see all these Christian people talking about Trump is a man of God. He was sent by God.
Hold on, Steve. Hold on, Steve. I got to ask you this now. You're going to make a lot of people mad, from the church. I'm going to ask you about JF. Who is JF? Jerry Falwell.
JF. Jerry Falwell Jr. got in trouble.
What's up? Now let's talk. They don't want to talk about that. Come on, Steve. What's up with that, man? Is that the first time that's happened?
No, of course not, man. Everybody. This is the problem right here. This is a problem with right wingers, left wingers, preachers. We're human beings, right? We're human beings. Human beings are fallible. You got Jerry Falwell now, Jr., who is now been proven to have done these things with the pool boy and his wife.
I'm sorry, but the truth is, I find it very crazy when you say that. It's like the people that hold you to the highest esteem or want to hold you to the highest esteem are the ones that are doing such dirt behind the scenes.
Yes, and
it's remarkable.
Okay, so right now we're living in cancel culture, right? So, hey man,
explain that to you. Explain to the people listening.
So, I met this guy Dwayne, and he's really nice and he's really cool. But one time in 1978, Dwayne said something that wasn't appropriate. So now he's done. I can't hang with Dwayne anymore. Somebody did something. Comedian said something that wasn't nice to the LGBTQ community or whatever. So now, and yeah, that was 10 years ago. And by all counts, he's a good person. But he said that, man. So I'm going to cut him out. Right now, we're in a culture of people who, and we're all flawed, man. We all do things we shouldn't do. We tell white lies, whatever it may be. But we want to hold everybody to the highest standard. If you do anything wrong, we're going to bury you to make ourselves feel better. Hey, man, I would never do something like that. You're lying. You said stuff.
Kind of like when black people say, why do you say white lie? Because it means like it's less than a real lie.
Yeah, good point. Like, so just a little white lie don't matter that much. And man, it's all the same.
The language behind it is so crazy that when people see it and really have some background on it, like we're talking about right now, it's different than what people really think it's going to be. And I think that's really important. It kind of like in your relationship, it's not easy to be married as long as you have, but that takes communication. It does. And a lot of people are not willing to have that. The base communication, because you're a human being, most are not willing to have.
And that's sad. And that's an excellent point, because in society, especially on social media, and I'm guilty of it. Everybody, it's tough because you got your side figured out. Like, I'm on this side. It's just, and then when something comes up, you jump in there. Hey, my side is right. You're crazy. And the facts haven't come out yet. And you're like, no, you're wrong, man. And you're ready because people want to feel good. They want to feel like they're on the right side of history. They want to feel like they're making the right decisions. They're behind the right thing. Of course, right? You want to feel like that you're making a change. My voice means something. And now we have social media where you get to say whatever you want to say. Right now, I'm talking to you on video. People can see me. So if I say something, I want people to feel me. I want to be right. I want to go down as, hey, man, I remember that that Cash guy, man, he said that was really cool. Well, on social media, it gives a voice to the masses, and the masses aren't always trained in being able to communicate or not that knowledgeable. And you give a voice to everybody, and it becomes crazy, man, because everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to feel like they're on the winning team. It's very tribal. Human beings are very tribal. We came from tribal people. And so whether it was in Africa, whether it was Native Americans, or whoever we all came from, in small groups, we fought against other groups who were very tribal. And we, for some reason today, as advanced as we are, we fall back to that. I'm a right winger. I'm a left winger. You must be crazy. My people say this. My tribe says this. And it shuts out communication. It shuts out empathy. You don't have empathy for the other squad, the other team. It's tough, man. Sorry, I'm rambling.
So no. You're saying some good shit. Forgive me, but you are. No, that's really good. And it resonates, and people will hear you and they'll look back on it and they'll like and subscribe, brother. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that plug in there. Like, subscribe, D Main Street. We're giving you some good stuff to chew on tonight, some nuggets. And we're talking about T-bone that's cooked medium or medium rare, however you like it. We got it with Cass Money right here. Cass, I got to ask you another question. Were you surprised that the Milwaukee Bucks walked off the court today? And not only they did not walk off the court, they did not show on the court. But then when they didn't show on the court, you had the others like Orlando and all the rest walk off the court and say they weren't going to play. What was your initial reaction to that, if you will?
I wasn't surprised by it because it depends on where your mind's at, man. If you man, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Consider the consequences. That's a lot to unpack. But they're taking a stand. Colin did it. You see what happened to him. Now they're going back. But during the meantime, how did that affect him and his family? As now that you've proven true, kind of like Muhammad Ali, it almost reminds you of you have to die before someone understands why you did what you did. But then you have these other people that have done such great things and consistently done them. And then once you say cancel culture, he did this, I don't like him. Who are you to judge that person like that? Literally.
So yeah, 100%. So you got right now. The culture right now is we're out here. Hide your children, hide your wife. They canceling everybody out here. So if they saw Dwayne had said something 10 years ago, they don't want you to have a podcast. If they saw me, I said something that was offend somebody, then you got to shut everybody down. Now, it's a lot to unpack, like you said. So, was I shocked that the Bucks didn't show up? No, I was not shocked, because right now we are at a place in this country where everything is intensified. Right, there's a magnifying glass on every action of every police officer, of people, of the protesters, what do you want to call them, rioters, looters. Everybody is we got COVID going on. Everybody's hair is standing up on the back of their neck, man. Everybody's ready.
Even comedians can't talk, like you said.
Comedians cannot do the comedy they're supposed to do. It's a tough time, man. Everybody is tense for many reasons. One reason is because of what's going on with police and black folks, So with everything that's going on, like I spoke to you earlier, and you said, Jacob Blake and the shooting of Jacob Blake is not really the only catalyst to it's like the icing on the cake, right? It's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like that's it. We're gonna be done. That's a tough one, man. I don't want to speak on that.
I'll be honest. I'll speak on it. I'll tell you this, and I have this conversation with a lot of my friends that are white and even Hispanic. And some, of course, my friends that are black, but it's not even about breaking the camel's back at this point. That camel is slaughtered, naked and afraid, ate up, and gained pounds. What I'm saying to you is that it's so blatant to the community, right, and even to the people that are empathetic, that it's like you're just gonna throw it in my face, and it's been happening. You're just gonna continue. You know how heightened it is, and you're still gonna throw it in my face. That's an excellent point, man. You just said it all right there. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And like I told my friends online and some of my black friends online, said, man,
I can't see that right now. I can't see this man getting killed. I don't want to see that. I can't emotionally process it, right? Like, what are we doing? What is going on?
Do you know what happened to him?
I saw the video finally. I saw the video of
No, like right now. Do you know what's going on with him now?
I know he's paralyzed from the waist down, I believe, right?
He lost his intestines. I think his liver.
Okay.
He's jacked.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
In front of 3 children, by the way.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I'll be honest with you. It's horrible. I'm not trying to justify that. So on the other side, right now, if I don't know the fact, so I put on a post that I was talking to some friends of mine there's a whole lot of crazy white people, man. There's a whole.
What do they say? I want to know what they say.
There's a whole lot of extremely liberal white people that they're whiter than snow, man. Whiter than
That's okay.
You can't even see them. They're so white.
I
They've
believe
never been
you.
around a black person, don't know shit. Never been around a black person, don't have any experience, just white as fuck. And as soon as something happens, they go to kill whitey and this and that and this. Those are the people that make me crazy because I need to know what happened. Is it been a history of police officers mistreating black people? Yes. You don't have to be white to know that. Of course, man. Of course.
The police were formed to catch slaves. The police were formed to catch slaves. That's how police were even formed. People don't even understand that. I mean, that's crazy.
Okay. 100%. So now, I'm glad you said that because you and I talked about that the other day. Why police were originally formed, right? Why are we privatizing prisons? Why people are going to make money? I think that's ridiculous. I hate it, man. I hate it.
I love talking to you, brother. I love talking to you.
It's not right. So, but anyway, okay, as we move forward, we are not going to easily slip away in a couple of years from our history. We can't, right?
I agree.
There's a couple of generations back. It's like my dad is 75. When he was in high school, it was segregated. He was a great football player. I asked
you might be close to your mic, so it's cutting you.
Hold up. Y'all got me now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me back up. Okay.
There you go.
So I talked to my dad. I said, hey, man, he was a great football player. He played at Pascal in Fort Worth. He got a scholarship to OU. I said, hey, man, so you're pretty good? And he was like, oh, it's pretty good, man. Yeah, we did really well. Went to state. And he said, but we'll never really know. And I was like, what are you talking about? We didn't play against the black schools. That's my dad, bro. He I can go to his house right now. He's in Tyler. He didn't play against black kids in high school. That's how close we are to segregation. We just got our shit together. We just got past this. So when people are still alive that went through Jim Crow laws, that went through segregation, we go, oh, hey, man, we've changed. Everything is good now. Okay, we're making strides. That's what I say. America's 200 and some years old, right? That's a very young. If you look at a timeline of the Roman,
very
very, very young. We started out all messed up. We had slaves, like every country before us. You got slaves in Africa. To this day, you got slaves.
But we messed up. Why can't we say we messed up, man? I'll tell you what's so crazy about that.
No,
we've paid compensation. We've paid compensation to Japan, which is the only nation that has ever declared war on us, which you go to December 7th, which is Pearl Harbor. We've paid them.
Yeah,
we paid them reparations.
And
why haven't? I mean, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. We paid them reparations, but we can't do anything for the peeps that that build some stuff for you. I mean, they say, hey, we built this country, but people say, I know you built this country, but damn, who built it?
So we had horrible. Okay, so this is now you're getting really deep. Now you're going.
I know that's that raw talk, baby. That's why I got you. Come on, Cash.
So here's the deal. There is no justification. There is no answer. There is no reason. There's no excuse to enslave one person, a people. There's no justification for that. You can't. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how long you talk, you can't get around that that's wrong. Now, are white people the only people that have ever enslaved anybody? No. Is that an excuse to say, hey, white people aren't that bad? Hell no. White people are fucked up. Came over
No,
here.
that's just educating. That's educating to put everything in perspective. I get what you're saying, not to
So
take away from what they're
I'm
doing.
looking at America, right? In America, we have a specific history. We were building railroads to go out west. We had Chinese people. We had black people. Ridiculous, insane, brutal treatment of black people in this country. Out of control. I don't understand how people behave that way to other people. I don't, whatever color you are. In our country, it fell on the black people a lot. Pick the cotton, build this, build that, create things that you don't get credit for. Have all this ingenuity and create things you don't get credit for. Just be treated like trash.
I thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we just. So America in its 200 years, 200 and I'm sorry I can't even say it right. 240
Doesn't
years.
matter. Doesn't matter.
So we have gone from, we had a civil war, right? A lot of people died. We have today me and you being really close. Me and you growing up basically like brothers. We have black president. We have Obama. We have Congress people that are black. So. When did America start off jacked up? My God, yes, of course. Of course. Is America making strides away from that? Now, not everybody. You can't judge the soul and the heart of every man. But has America in 240 years compared to other nations and countries, Rome, thousands of years, whatever you want to call it, British Empire, have we made strides? Are we right now going through a revolution to shed ourselves of our crappy Jim Crow laws and our ridiculous racism? We're trying, right? But we're trying to move away from that. So when people say America sucks, America is trash, America is this, it's no good, there's no redeeming values about that, I don't buy that shit, man. Because we're trying, people like me, people like you, we're trying to move away from that. Now, can we deny that? No, we got to own that. We got to wear that. We got to own that bullshit. But are we trying to get away? When I look at the riots / protests / looting, I see about 4 million white people in there because they are standing up. So we can't do this, right? I don't see only black people and all white people trying to stop them. I see all the people I see burning everything down and breaking everything and getting shot is all white people.
So let me ask you a question. And I want a real raw answer from you, brother.
Okay.
How many people do you think are like you, that think like you? Just keep it to like Facebook or people you interact with just on, social media. What do you think the percentage are that thinks like you? And the reason I ask you that question is because you are what I consider the anomaly. You're the exception. You're not the rule, which I wish you were the rule. And the closer we can get to you being the rule is the closer that we will really see change, because you don't have to make an excuse why it's not what it is. You don't have to see that you're looking at a computer screen and act like it's not a computer screen. It is a computer screen.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And most people just want to find a reason why it's not. And I give you a point of emphasis and I'll let you talk. It's like when they killed that guy I was talking to you about earlier, and they shot him 7 times in front of his kids. 3 kids in the car. It was incredible. But the feedback that I got from some people outside on social media was they found some weed up under his. They found a knife up under his front seat. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? If they found it, okay, but he's going to take a knife and kill all 4 or 5 officers. Stop the madness. Second thing I thought was, why is that even a thought in your mind that that's what you want to say? Because these people shot this guy, adult, 7 times in front of his kids, which is remarkable to me. The very fact that you would have think in your mind to even conjure up a reason, it blows my mind, Steve. Help me understand.
So I'm not white, you're not black, we're just people, right?
Correct.
In this moment. So I don't know. That's why I even put a post on Facebook saying I'm not saying nothing about this. I hope that they have some evidence to prove that killing this man was justified. I don't know what that might be, but I hope they have something, because you know, tore the country up again. I hope you have some reason. Now, if he was okay, now this is real right here. I'm talking about white people, Mexican people, Asian people, Indian people, Iranian people, black people. If the cops come up to you, especially right now, it's so heightened, right? If the cops get called out and they come to you and they say, "Hey man, we just got a call that you were doing this or that," and you didn't do nothing, you didn't do anything. You're like, "What are you talking about, man? Why are you harassing me? Because I'm Iranian? You don't like black people or whatever?" And they're like, "Hey, let me talk to you. Stand right there." And you say, "Man, fuck you. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm going." Man, please, for all of our sake, please. Please stop. Please stop. Just say, "Hey, man, I don't know what you're here for. I didn't do it. And we're going to get to the bottom of this. You're going to hear from my lawyers. This is some bullshit. Don't go get in your car. Don't go walk through them when they're trying to tase you and keep walking. I don't give a shit who you are. Please. So that way we don't lose another life of a black man or anybody.
I love the fact
before we get these big cops, if they're bad, and people are filming.
No, I hear what you're saying, and you make a great point, and I love the fact that you're being honest about that, because you hear that all the time. But I'm gonna give you another perspective that you may not hear because people don't talk about it. And the truth is this: that Hispanic black guy, he can't afford a lawyer. He can't afford to get arrested. He can't afford to get going through a lockup and then getting a bail and getting back out.
Right.
He knows he didn't do anything, and he doesn't want you fucking with him at that time because he didn't do shit. And he knows that you want to run him because maybe you can find something to pull out on him because you've seen too many times on recording, well, we'll figure something out on him. So the distrust is so deeply ingrained that why not you as a professional, and your job is to de-escalate in the first place, and instead of you grabbing, saying, hey, come here, and if you don't obey me as a dog, you're going to do it, and then I'm going to make you do it. Hold on, killer. Everybody, no one's going to run from you. You got a gun. That bullet will travel faster than any man can run, and you're shooting them anyway, point blank. So easy on that. What happened, people? Your job is to come and you investigate what happened with everyone around, not start grabbing people and putting them on the ground. Your hands behind, shut up. Put your hands down, shut up. Shut the F. You know what I'm talking about.
It's just like you and I talked about the black family that got put down, the 6-year-old that got cuffed, laid on the ground. I understand what you're saying. I hear you 100%. I would be a mad shit. If I was a black man, the whole world would hear me.
If you were a man, period. It doesn't black or white, Hispanic. Your kid is 6 years old on the ground. You as a dad, you would go, hey, come on now.
Now, here's the deal. After you and I had that conversation, I thought about it. I said, man, what if somebody came, because they got me in college and put me on and cuffed me, put me on the street corner, threw all this stuff out of my Mustang because it was somebody that I fit a description. That's what you black guys hear all the time. You fit a description. It was a black dude, right? That's crazy. They told me. So they told me you fit a description. Was that when I went to UTA, I lived in my car, man. They threw all my clothes. I had dirty underwear in the street, overall fielder. They threw everything out. I was sitting there. I didn't know what I did. They didn't tell me nothing. They just handcuffed me, put me on the curb, and threw all my shit in the street. They stripped my car. They looked for everything. They pulled this. Man, they were ripping seats up. And then they said, "Okay, you're free to go." I said, "What do you mean I'm free to go? What are you talking about, man?" I said, "You guys must be looking for a red Mustang." They're like, "Yep." That's it. So that was me being white, just 1/1,000,000th of 1% of understanding how that, just a tiny little piece of how that feels. And I was like, this is bullshit. You didn't tell me nothing. You handcuffed me. You set me down. You threw my shit in the street and you left. So
in everyday life,
that's not knowing the struggle. I'm not trying to compare myself.
No. I don't want anybody. I would say to all my listeners, new that are going to come, I love you to death, and old that already know me, they know who I am, they know what's going on with me. I speak what I think. You are an amazing person. You speak it, you keep it real, and to be honest with you, you are an ally, but you don't always agree with what I think and what agree with we think all the time. And that's the beauty of having a conversation with someone like you, because it doesn't get to a visceral nature where you start, hey, I feel this way on a personal level about you, because then when you do that, it's not about anything that we're talking about now. It's about being on a person. And that's really who you
100%.
are. And so when I talk about these things, what we're talking about, my thought process simply is these people are they don't want to hear, or maybe they can't say something because they're in front of people that they love, care about, and they have a persona that they have to keep. And I think that is a lot of the reason why some of these people don't really speak up and say what they're going to say.
You got to
Because
keep it real, man. You got to keep it real. You got to keep your
father says, hey, you better not say anything, and they've been raised that way. They better not. And man, they don't have the wherewithal to do it, but you know, some people like yourself can.
Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Where do we move from here? Where do we move from here, Steve? I mean,
Man,
hopefully we don't have another person get shot, but let me ask you a question, hypothetically. This is September next week, right? September, 2 black men get killed. September, 2 black men get killed by police officer. What do you think in your mind, if you're not a white person, as a black person, how do you process that?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna come back to that question, by the way. And that's the reason I'm asking that, because I'm gonna ask you after your answer. I'll wait till you answer. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the deal. Right now, when everybody's tensions are high, right? You got Mr. Floyd, who I think that was horrible. Man, I teared up when I can't fathom that.
Right.
That was horrible. So you got that in everybody's mind, and then you got. I'm trying to get good light, man. Sorry, man. It's bad light right here.
No, take your time. You're fine, brother. We'll take
all these things that have happened. So now everybody is up here, right? They're like, I don't want to hear your bullshit. If I see a black man shot, I'm burning. I'm tearing it up. I'm done. I'm over it. You know, you got white people and black people that feel that way. Mexican people say, I'm just over it. I don't give a shit. Now,
let me interrupt you. Let me ask you one question in between that.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Does it accentuate if they're getting shot in the back, running away, or things of that nature?
Of course. If someone is not a threat and they're fleeing and you shoot them in the back, you bet so you got to have every single scenario on a police call, or if I roll up and somebody wants to fight me, we're going to have specific details to that scenario, right? Now, if you shoot somebody, if you shoot them in the back, you better have a damn good reason. You better have been fearing for your life. You better have known they were going for something, whether they're white, black, whoever. Every situation now, what happens is that you get to where, like right now, it's ACAB, right? All cops are bastards. That's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you right now.
They have immunity.
There's a million black and Mexican and Asian and everybody else cops that aren't bad people.
They have immunity. They have immunity. That means that if a cop gets charged with anything, even if he's found guilty, he has immunity. He'll never go to jail. He'll never be charged with that. And unless that changes.
Okay. That's horrible then. That's bad. So that's bad. Me and you can agree that's bad. But if you say that every cop that's out there working is a racist, then you're crazy, man. It would be so many dead black people and so many dead.
That's ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous.
That's not a sane conversation, though.
But that's knucklehead shit, and that's where we are right now. If anything happens, then everybody's like, "Oh, it's a racist cop." Well, it's possible, yes, of course it's possible. But let's find out what the fuck happened. Like I
don't like when people say all. Never, always.
Look, if I say, hey man, all black people like watermelon, that's the stupidest racist that's the stupidest thing you can say. If I say,
I don't know. We like some watermelon. We like some chicken too.
I love watermelon. You know what I'm saying?
We like chicken too, big dog. I should be a chicken myself. I'm just keeping it real. We love some chicken, big dog. Hey, I ain't mad about that chicken.
There ain't nothing you love I don't love, man. So but you know what I'm saying? When that's
Yeah.
stupid. That's an ignorant statement. When you say all white people this, all Korean people this, you have proven that you are not a smart person.
Or that's how you feel.
You are not a nuanced person. You are just a big dumb say, I knew a black guy once and he did this, so I don't like black people. Man, you're a dumb motherfucker. You don't know. You don't. I knew a white guy once and he was right. I know all kinds of white people. I hate some of them. I hate them. Stupid as fuck. And I know white people that I love. Same with black people, same with Mexican people, and everything. You know, you can't generalize. You can't throw that. That's what racism is. I see Dwayne, and I'm talking to him. I see him. He got that little black skin. I know about them guys.
But the difference, brother, is this.
What?
People you don't know, because you meet people on an everyday basis that you never knew existed before you meet them. You have the capacity to treat them like a human being when everyone else.
Of course.
But that seems common to you. But it's so exasperated. That's why it's so exasperating to you when you don't see it. In my experience, I feel the same way. But I'm aware that happens. So all I can do at this moment, man, is recognize what I'm dealing with when I see it, because I can really tell what people are about when I meet them. And then how can I create something where they can at least entertain the thought, kind of like your children. They'll say, Daddy, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. They won't say it that way, but they're like, I know. Okay, I'm going to tell you, you say you know, but I know eventually later on down in life, you're going to say, I remember my dad told me this, because I do it all the time. I do it all the time from not only my dad, but from stepdads and people that I consider my dads that helped me out in life. Absolutely, without a doubt. It happens all the time with people. And all it takes is one person to say, let me pull you to the side. Let me tell you, this is what you might not know, that they believe and are willing to hear. And that's the most important thing. People that they're willing to hear from. It reminds me of like a lot of times when you've never went through a divorce. But people that have will understand this. If you go through a divorce, whether it be the woman or the man, if that man tries to talk to that woman and says, this is true, she is not hearing that. Vice versa applies. And what that does is that shuts down all communications, because that's been damaged some kind of way. And until you can build that back up to where there's some semblance of trust, all information is just going to be edited, kind of like we used to watch news before. You don't get the true story. You get what someone wants to hear you. And they're not hearing what you have to say. So when I talk to someone other than you or thinks like you, that just say, I don't want to hear any different information, I don't really want to continue that conversation. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to hear what you have to say, and hopefully you can entertain it. But I'm not going to beat my head trying to convince you of something. That's just too much time.
Yeah.
No way.
It's just like arguing online, man. And I do it, and you get on to me too. You're like, hey, man, don't do that just to have fun, because you poke at people. But you're not gonna change somebody's mind with all that crap. Some stubborn people, and you're like, hey, check this out. And they're like, man, that's a lie. It's futility, man. It's beating your head, like you said, just beating your head against people that are unwilling to listen, that won't learn. And you know me, I jump in there because I like to fight, but just have fun. But
what are they going to do in Louisiana? What are they going to do? What is the government going to do? What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of days? Hopefully nothing hits and nothing happens. I do pray that happens. But if something happens in any remote fashion, what do you think the government's going to do? I want to know what you really think. As a white man.
Hurricane?
Yeah. It's low. I can forget what they call it, but it's low ground. It's flooded before. You know what happened before. What do you think is going to happen if that's the case? Honestly,
a cluster, man. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, what?
I think it will be so bad on so many levels. When I was watching the RNC, I heard so many dog whistles. It was incredible. And to my public that doesn't know what dog whistle is, it means when someone says something within a party or within a culture, And within that culture, they understand what that means, but everybody else outside of it doesn't know. And it's something for them to understand. It's like a call to action. And so I heard so much of that. I'll give you an instance. Hey, you suburban wives out there, be careful. They're going to move them over to you, and they're going to take over, and your neighborhoods are going to change. And you have to be protected from that. You can't allow this to happen to our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods are for us. That's what they're saying.
They said that? I don't watch it. I can't watch the DNC. I don't watch the RNC. I can't watch it.
Well, the truth is, I watch it because I want to know what's good, what's bad, what I agree, what I don't disagree. I just want to know what anybody's saying. Because you know what? The truth is, I got to know what the opposition or people that I feel like disagree with me, I got to know what they think anyway.
So, okay. So I understand that. And if they're saying that, the RNC, these are our neighborhoods and they're going to come into your neighborhoods, that makes me feel creeped out, man. That's creepy shit.
You remember that lady and that man that pulled out the gun?
Yeah.
They're the ones that said it. They're in the RNC. They were speakers. I mean, it's now you don't listen to it, you don't look at it, and that's okay. And I hear you, but I told you there's an exception. But man, the masses look at it and they are gone ho. And see, when they see you, you don't say a word, but they look at you like they see that person, and that's the disconnect, man. They don't know who I do. I know the history, but no one does other than until you open your mouth and then they know what's going on with you. Same thing applies to me. This is why I resonate with you. But the truth is, you're the exception, brother. And then when you say that, even they get on your ass. They're like, hey, what are you talking about? Right?
But I'm just trying to be a human being. I don't feel like I'm an exception to anything.
I know.
I don't understand how. I don't understand it, man. There's so much, man. There's so many layers. Okay, so let me ask you this. So the Black Lives Matter movement. So I say Black Lives Matter. Say, man, you goddamn right they do. They always have, man. They even have to say that is ridiculous. Do we have to come out and say that something's wrong, right? Of course, but of course they matter. What? Yeah, no, we have to say it because shit is going wrong. I get it. I'm with it. But then you have the Black Lives, where you get a lot of pushback from people, black, white, whoever it is, Americans, is whenever the leaders of the movement say we're Marxists, we're socialists, we're here to tear America apart. So then you go like, whoa, man, I can't be with that. No, I'm trying to tear America apart. So America, the Constitution says all these great things, man. They said, hey, every man has inalienable rights given to them by their creator and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff I believe in. Now, when it was written, they didn't let black people vote. They didn't think that a black person was a whole man. Remember? So did we get started off jacked up?
Well, hold on. They didn't think it was a whole man. Do you remember how much of a man?
Remember when a black person was considered a quarter or a half of a man?
That's correct.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you didn't even have a death certificate or a birth certificate, brother.
So that right there is obviously to any human being that is alive on this planet. If you can't look at that and say that is the most heinous, disgusting, ridiculous treatment of a human being, then you don't even deserve to be around. If you can't look at that and just go, dude, I hate that. That's horrible, right? Okay, so now America's trying to move past that. So do we burn the whole thing down, or do we let it move past that? Do we say, man, that was sorry, man, that was stupid, that was some bullshit, but we got to move past that, man? Or do we just hold ourselves down in that? What do we do? Did the black man get off to a bad start? And they couldn't even drink out of the same water fountains when my dad was in high school. Of course they did. You can't say they didn't. You can't say as an American, the black people, the race, did not get off to a shitty start. Fucking of course they did. If you say different, then you're not trying. So it's not hard to go, oh yeah, so my dad, me and Dwayne are good friends. Me and Dwayne's like my family. We grew up together, me and you. So he's like family. But his dad and my dad couldn't drink out the same water fountain, but there's nothing wrong with that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Absolutely.
So you can't pretend like
Don't gloss over
that's
that
not-
shit either.
That's not a shameful past that wasn't even that long ago.
Why is
You
that so
can't-
hard to admit, though, Steve? Why is that hard to admit?
It's not. You can't look at the sky and go, "Hey, man, that sky's blue," and somebody goes, "Man, that shit is brown," and you're like, "What?" You okay. So let me answer your question. Let me be more real instead of being silly. So it's hard to admit. It's hard to admit.
Real quick for your white audience, I want you guys to understand this. The Black Lives Matter Foundation is in no way connected to the Black Lives Matter movement. It is in a lot of ways to the white community. When you say Islam, there's All Islam and Nation of Islam. They're two separate, but they coincide because the communication makes them the same. One believes a blue-eyed devil, one does not believe the same thing. But you have to delve in deep with that. Most people don't even deal with that because they don't want to believe in the first place. So to hell with that. If it is what it is, who cares? It's still the same thing to them. So when they say that, I like to kind of pull you back and say they're not the same thing, but people always piggyback on someone else's name to further their cause. And a lot of times it is direct opposite of what they're trying to do. You see it in the riots with people that don't even live in the neighborhoods that go and do the things that they do. So I want to make sure all of people that are Caucasian, Hispanic, and even Black that don't know that Black Lives Matter Foundation is not connected in any way to Black Lives Matter movement. Two separate entities. As a matter of fact, the Black Lives Matter Foundation, they were getting, I forget what once you get all that money and they what is it called where you send in and they collect money for you and give it to you. What is it? Anyway, they stopped the money. GoFundMe. They had like a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. They found out that they were not the same, and GoFundMe did not give them the money because they were presenting themselves as if they were the Black Lives Matter Foundation, and they were, Black Lives Matter movement, and they were not. They were the opposite of that, and they were utilizing the name. So they kept their money and then sent it to the Black Lives Matter movement. So just to clarify that particular thing, but going back to what we were saying, if you can remember what I was talking to you about, because my ADD is kicking in, about how you receive that information. Go ahead.
What were we saying? So,
shit, I don't remember.
Okay, so I kind of broke off from what you were saying to speak on that. Like, the America that I grew up in with you, right? Me and you were in the same spot. And
Sure.
We've talked about, as we've gotten older, we've talked about different things and experiences that we had. You know, I did not, okay, you made a good point to me the other day. I didn't experience racism. I'm white, right? Okay. But I did not see anybody being racist to you because they would not pull that shit in front of me. That's what we talked about. So me and you, I just knew that it was black people in our neighborhood. It wasn't a lot. It was you and Dexter and your family. I met your
Chris.
father. I told you, I thought your father was the coolest dude in history because he could talk on the CB. I didn't understand that other people didn't think about black people the way I did. My experience is you were one of my best friends. Your family was cool to me. Met your nieces. I mean, your mom, your dad, your mom. Your dad was super cool. I thought I was fortunate. I didn't have to see the mistreatment of a black family. To me, it was all good. So when people go around all the time and say, well, white people are this and that and this, I'm like, no, we're not. I'm talking from my experience. And like you said, just because you haven't experienced that, you haven't seen that in your life, doesn't mean it's not happening. So for you to say, oh no, America is really cool, because I'm speaking from my personal experience. My experience is that America is pretty damn cool. We get along great with black people.
Right.
But that's not everybody's experience, man, right? That's not everything you've experienced. When you were with me, that's what you got.
The truth is that, you know, and if we can get that experience duplicated many times over, it'd be great. I think the thing that happens is a lot of times that especially when we were growing up, people that, if you think about it, people in um, commercials, movies, until Michael Jackson came out with Thriller, they look like you. They look like your mother. They look like people like you. I don't remember people looking like us, and if they did, they didn't look like in any kind of responsible nature in anything until they
Yeah,
got to like,
pimps, drug
no,
dealers,
yeah,
pimps, drug dealers,
yeah,
maids.
sluts, yeah, yeah, hoes, and then it came to like, yeah, and then it came to like the Huxtables.
Yeah.
And so even deeper than that, and I'm not gonna go too much on this. I'm just gonna stop with that. We're gonna go back with a lot of things in a lot of America, especially white America, what we don't talk about a lot. Think about it this way, brother. Every black guy, woman that has been supremely successful on a different level, even a billionaire, they have an asterisk by their name. Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, Mike Tyson, Jay-Z. We can go down a litany of lists.
An asterisk of just being black.
No, something has happened to them legally that takes away from who they are. Every one of them. Think of everyone that you think of that is on another level that's a black person that's on a different level, including
Oprah.
Prince.
Oprah.
We can think about Oprah and her and not getting married to Stedham and what's going on with her. And then the people that she got sued by those people in Texas. She won it. They were saying that some kind of meat thing that she went through there with the people in Texas.
She said, "Don't eat me. Don't eat me." That's right.
That type of stuff. That's a little bit of things. But think of, I hear you say Oprah, and then you could probably say the Obamas. You can't say anything now, not yet. But think of anything that was super successful, the top of the top of the top in their era.
So you think?
But then I can say Iron Man. I could also say we just roasted them the other night. What's his name? He's on The Office. I can't think of his name. These people have bounced back over. Come on, man. Just like this dude that's supposed to kill himself in the jail. So we know that shit's not real.
Epstein?
And then nobody knows about it. Nobody has anything to do with it.
No, they smoked that dude, man.
Come on, dude. And we want to act like we don't know that happened. Stop the madness. See, we want to dig our heads when we don't really want to see that shit that's happening around us. I mean, dude says that's in the White House, grab them by their pussy, and you telling me that that's okay?
So
and you forget that, and that's okay. Come on, dude.
So Trump, that's a good thing you brought up. So Trump says, "Hey man, when you're famous, they let you grab them by the pussy and all that's crazy. And you won't believe what they let you do. These hoes let you do."
He wasn't lying.
No, he wasn't lying. You could grab them by the pussy, man. So could I. So was he telling the truth? Yeah. Is that a classy thing to say? No, it's disgusting. It's disrespectful. It's disgusting. It's an abuse of power. Do I think Trump is some sort of great man? Hell no. He's a con man. He's a shithead. He's a liar. He's a businessman, dude.
Help me understand. If he's a businessman, tell me one business venture that he has that's been successful that's not in bankruptcy. One.
Man, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't study him enough.
He doesn't have one, brother.
I don't know about his business ventures or whatever. I know he's a salesman. He's a fast
USFL. He's had planes. He's had casinos. He's had steaks.
I don't love him because he's a businessman. I don't give a shit about him.
But that's why they voted for him, because he's a businessman.
He was a game show host and became president. I mean, you know what? I'm not Trump's boy, man. I don't. I thought he was goofy with that fucking hair since about 20 years ago. So I mean, Trump is not my man. He's not my savior. He's not my hero.
Then why does everybody want to fight for him? I mean, y'all. You know what I'm telling you? This is gonna be funny, but I'm gonna tell you this.
You said y'all.
I did. You're gonna understand when I say this. So in my culture, we talk about, hey, you got a whole bunch of black people that are in the same area. You know, there's gonna be some drama, right? So It's the same thing with you guys in Trump rallies. Y'all act like there's a whole bunch of people. Y'all don't know how to act, dude.
I've
That's
never
real.
I've never watched a Trump rally. I've never been to one. I've never even watched one. I don't watch the RNC, so maybe I'm not as informed as you are. I know you watch to see what the opposition's
You
doing.
been to a Trump rally? Stop the madness. Stop the madness. You been to a Trump rally?
Man, get the fuck. I ain't been no Trump rally. Trump is not my man, dude. Everybody wants to, and that's why I kind of fall in a weird place because everybody you have to be all the way right or all the way left. Now, you know me, I do theater, I do acting, so I'm kind of a weird dude, man, because I have a ton of gay friends, a ton of hardcore liberal friends, I have black friends.
How do you navigate that, Steve? And that's a real different question, all in itself.
Just like I'm dealing with you right now, I try to be real, and you ask me a question, I tell you the truth. If I meet somebody, so here's another deal. This is interesting. That's a great question. So I know a ton of redneck people, right?
I love this dude.
My family rodeos, my family rodeos. I know how to rope. I know how to speak Spanish. I have a lot of different inspirations in my life. I listen to all kinds of music, whatever it may be. So if I don't know any white people in my life that have ever come up to me, and I'm being honest, I'm being real with you now, and would say to me something that is truly racist. I had my grandfather, when I was a little bitty kid, I was like 4, 5, 6 years, this is way back in the 70s. He said the N word, right? He said the N word, like we were watching football, and I didn't know what that meant. And I'm being straight with you. He said the N word, look at that N run or something like that, or that N. And I asked my dad, I said, hey, man, and my dad was a police officer at the time. And I said, hey, man, I'm not, I said it, or maybe I repeated. Some reason my dad was telling me, hey, look, Pam's old. He talks like that because that's how people talk. He would say nigra. He would say Nigegger. He would say nigra. And I would say, well, I'm not sure what that means. And my dad said, man, that's some jive. Don't say that word. That's a horrible word. It's not right. This is what it means. So from a very young age, when I encountered racism, I was told that's bad, but then I came to find out that my grandfather's best friends were black. He worked on the railroad. My grandfather was a hardworking man. He worked on the railroad. His best friends were black. So he was coming out of his mouth was what he had heard, right? He had grown up, I'm sure, goddamn, he was old. He was 100 years old in the 1970s. But even him, he had great black friends. It would have them to the house. So I've just never been around a true that's been in my circle or been close to me that has led on to me that they were truly racist. Like, hey, man, let me tell you something, man. These black people, these Asian people, this is what nobody's ever either they're not brave enough or they're too secretive. And I know a lot of white people. So if you think there's like all the white people, like as soon as the black people are gone, they're like, hey, man, look at these N words. Look at this. I can't believe these black people. They don't do it in front of me. They don't do it in front of me. I've experienced that racism. Now you say people tell jokes or say things like that. Yeah, you're talking about goofing around, but a true racist person, if they came across to me that they were truly racist, I would confront them, man. If it was about Korean people or anybody, I'd say, man, fuck you, man. So I don't see a lot of it in my life, which goes back to your point. You were like, hey, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. I know it's happening out there. But thankfully, luckily, I've been sheltered from a lot of that, man. I don't see a whole lot of people truly being racist because I wouldn't turn a blind eye to it. I would not be, white people.
I don't know. I don't know that you've been sheltered, to be quite honest with you. I think that your mother, your father, and the people that are in your life, the people, your stepfather, those people, man, they're sound, dude. And so you did. You would consider it's supposed to be the norm, but we can call it lucky. But the truth is that you have these people. Mute your microphone for just a second. You have these people that what happens is that they influence you such in a way where you know for a fact that it's going to, they know what they're doing when they do it to you because they've produced you and they can see what you are. Your parents saw you in such a way because they knew what they were bringing into this world. They knew, and anybody can see that. All your friends say the same thing to you. So your mom and dad, of course, knew that, and your parents, and then so you do the same thing because they're cultivating you to do that. Somehow, people get lost in the way of that being able to be realized, and then hopefully, people in their life can help them go back to that path, and they're able to receive that information. But I think what happens a lot of times is we get caught up in who's in our life, that we give them such a hold, and we lose our self identity because we're trying to prove something to someone else. When if you peel everything back and no one's watching, and you sit around people that really, really care, they'll tell you the truth. But they're so worried about what people that are around them are going to think and how they're going to lose credibility to them. They'll never say anything unless they have to. That's the problem I think that faces a lot of people. Because I don't think innately they're bad. I just think they don't have a way to come out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if I was around, and there's a lot of people that are, black people are told, hey, man, look, if your dad and mom had told you, hey, man, you can't go hang out with the Walkers, you can't hang out with Steven. I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna try to kill you. They're gonna try to call the cops on you. They're gonna be racist. They may try to poison you. White people are evil.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh,
Huh?
I'm sorry. You didn't know that?
They told you that?
Okay. No, not about you, because you and Baird and of course your mother were different. So you to them were the anomaly because my dad absolutely told me not to hang around because that's not good for you. That's not going to be good for you. That's not going to turn out good for you. Especially the other, which would be the female, not going to turn out good for you. Based on his experience, he's pretty smart. A lot of things I should have listened to him, but life teaches you lessons. You roll through it. You become the person you are, and you become the beast that you are in life. And if you haven't realized it, hope you do. But I have, and I'm continuously doing that every day. With that being said, yes, I was told never because they have not your best interests at heart. And most people are taught that way because of what they've been taught their life. They teach and project to someone else. But then it takes you and me to change the game and think of a different way and say, no, I'm not going to accept that. That's not my paradigm. I can change the way I'm going to be thought of and how people think, regardless of what I have to go through. But everyone does not have that wherewithal to do so. They do not have the intelligence to do so. And they definitely do not have the communicative skills to do so, which makes you stand out. And while you're in leadership positions like you are, people listen to you because they know you're going to tell them right and you're going to lead them to a better place than they already are at. That's what it is. You're a leader, kid. You're not a follower, and that's why you're in the position you're in now.
I think I'm at a disadvantage a little bit. That's why I get so mad. So when I see people online saying, "Oh man," and this who I see people saying, "Hey man, if you're white, you're racist," and all that stuff. I know from personal experience, white people, that are not goddamn racist. So when you say all white people are racist, or I have three sons now, they're young, 13, 11, and 5. They don't know how to be racist, sir. We don't play that shit. They don't know how to be racist. We have Mexican friends, black friends.
Behavior.
They're not. They're not going to learn that here. So
No.
when I think about them going out into the world and a black child or somebody being nervous, like, hey, I can't hang out with that kid, or that kid's no good because they're racist, that makes me mad. So if I was a black
Wow,
parent
that
and
is deep.
I had three
That is
kids, no,
deep.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to front. That is real. I think
No,
about
that's
my
deep,
sons
bro.
going into the world and they're going to get beat up, or they're going to get a black parent in America or anywhere is worried that my kid is going to get mistreated because the color of their skin. It's a horrible feeling. I have tons of black friends, and they tell me, "Hey, man, I'm worried about my kid, and the kid is awesome, awesome, nothing wrong with the kid, but I'm worried that somebody's going to fuck with them because they're black." That's a legitimate concern. And if I think about my sons, if I think about somebody messing with my black friends' sons, I get livid, pissed. If I think about somebody with my sons, I'll kill you, I'll skin you, I'll bury your ass. So when somebody says, "Hey man, your children are racist," and I see all these weak ass, bitch ass white liberal people out there that like, "Hey, you're racist, destroy white Caucasians are evil," even though they're a Caucasian, it makes me insane. It makes me insane. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And if I think about somebody telling my sons that they're no good because they're white, that they're inherently racist because they're white,
accept that. I will not
man,
accept that at all.
I'll beat your fucking soul out of you.
No,
And
because
if
you don't know
anybody,
me.
if anybody told my black friends' children that they were bad because they're black, I'd beat the soul out of you, because I don't agree with that. But my experience, my life with you and your family was non-racist. So I'm not coming from a place where I had to see my friend, you or my other friends, deal with that.
It's a
Doesn't
choice.
mean that they don't deal with that.
True, but it's a choice with the people that interact with your life. If you feel a certain way, great. Don't affect my family and my life. But if you say something to me, be able to understand and accept what I'm going to say back to you with respect.
100%. It sickens me that you or any of my friends or my Hispanic friends would have to be concerned for their children. Like, we live in America, but I'm concerned on the streets of America that something unfair will happen to my child as a father, as a human being. That's not right, man. I can't I can't process that. I can't deal with that. So let me catch somebody slipping. Let me catch somebody doing something wrong or being racist to anybody's child.
See, you know what he is? Because he just said slipping. Y'all hear me. Y'all hear my brothers over there. So I'm going to let you have the last word before I go ahead and plug, like, subscribe, because we know we have gave you, like I tell you, we have gave you $1 million worth of game for $5.99 discount tonight.
Hey, Jay-Z, baby, we're giving them all that game for nothing.
I got your Cash money tonight. Cash, hey, leave them with something to chew on tonight when they go to bed.
Hey, man, it's tough right now. It's tough right now. But you got to look deep, be peaceful, get to know somebody, know where they're coming from, and do not make blanket statements. Don't judge people just because of their skin tone or their religion or where they're from, man, or the language they speak. Just don't do it. Just don't do it, man. Be a little bit patient. Watch yourself. Be a little bit patient. And let the love come through, because nobody's going to save us. The government's not going to save us. The media is not going to save us. Nobody's going to save us but us. That's it. And it takes conversation and intelligence and a little bit of love, man, and we'll be all right.
And if you don't agree, that's okay. Can you hear me all right, Steve?
If you don't agree with somebody but you can't sit and talk, then we're lost. We're lost. You have to be able to.
You got to be able to listen, man. You just got to be able to listen. The truth is that when people don't want to listen, they don't understand that there's something to be said from the other side that they just might not agree with. And I appreciate you, my man. I definitely will have you on again. I love the raw nature of you, and we're gonna keep plugging you, Steve. I'm gonna plug your business next time if you allow me to do so, because you're amazing. And people are going to be able to see you, your wife, your family. They're going to see more of you because, hey, y'all don't know Steve's, he's on movies. I ain't going to tell you too much about it. Don't say he's on movies. He's a star. Y'all don't even know it yet, but that's okay. I know a star, an actor. There you go. Hey, Raw Talk with Respect with D Mainstream. We're going to kick it tonight, tomorrow, and the next day. And thank you for joining me again, Steve. We out again.
Thank you, D. Hey, man, everything you said to me, it's right back to you. I love you. I always have. I appreciate you giving me the forum to come in and speak to you honestly and raw. I'm not going to be any other way. I'm going to tell you straight up. But you know me. I respect you. And I appreciate what you're doing out here, man. To get on here and to open a forum like that and hear all sides, man, that's big. That's what we need right now, man. So much respect. I appreciate you.
Right back at you, big dog. Much love to you. You know I got love for you and your family, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, man. We'll see you.